Hi everyone, and welcome to my video premiere. I would like to say a few words first about the video, and then after I premiere it, I'm going to have a little discussion with Jeff Winston, who did all of the filming and like editing and stuff for the video, and have him discuss his role in this as well, just as like a little scoop inside of the video. So I hope you'll stick around for that. Should be fun. And I think we're also going to play a couple of my songs from Metamorphosis, which was the album I released earlier this year afterwards. So yeah, first off, I just want to say thank you so much to Olivia Key. She did the mixing, mastering, and some editing for this studio recording of the song, which is Inside and Out. I have not released this studio recording yet. I've released a live version of this song on my YouTube, where I was spinning fire to it. So you might have heard it. If it sounds familiar, that's probably why. But this is the first time you'll get to hear the studio release and see the video. So she did such an amazing job. It was the first time I had her mix anything for me, and I sent her the raw stems. Actually, I asked her first because I had heard her stuff and it just sounds so good. So I was like, would you be willing to? And she was like, yes. And I was like, super excited. And with good reason, it turned out beautifully. She's such a pro. She's extremely talented, so I'm going to go ahead and post her link to her YouTube channel in all of the chats. And if you're not subscribed to her, please do, because her music is absolutely beautiful and just top quality, like very well produced. And she's a great songwriter too. So yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and do that, give her that shout out. And now I want to talk a little bit about what inspired me for this song. And this song sets the precedent for my next album, which will be released sometime next year. But it's loosely inspired by just this whole thought process that I had about fate versus free will. And it's definitely inspired by the Sisters of Fate, like the past, present, and future Greek Moirai, the Norns in Norse mythology. I think it's Urd or Weird, Verdandi, and Skuld. And they weave these threads of fate that bind us all. And supposedly they cut the thread when your life is over. And then sometimes they can rebind it. So that's like almost, if you believe in reincarnation, then that would be like you going from one life into the next. And pondering this, I've come to the conclusion that there are boundaries set by fate that are inescapable, but that what you do within those boundaries, that's where the free will part comes in, and it's entirely up to you. So it's like, then the question arises of how do you navigate within those boundaries that are set for you, especially if, say that, if you're talking about an event that fate has set for you. Maybe that event was inescapable, and maybe it was something horrible, but how you deal with that and react to that and where you go from there is up to you. And so how do you like navigate these waters, I guess, is another question that comes to mind. And that's where the symbolism of the lantern comes in. You'll notice that I'm holding a lantern in the video throughout the entire time. And that lantern means a lot. It's got a layered meaning, but ultimately it's like the divine spark within you. It's that light that never goes out. And it's also representative of the fact that when you're surrounded by darkness, you need to look within sometimes, and that light within is going to guide you through that darkness. And I think that's really important. And that's also why this is my favorite card in the tarot deck. And for those of you that know this card, you'll see that it has similar vibes to the video itself. And that was definitely done on purpose, because it is one of my favorite cards in the deck for that reason. Because I think that we often seek too far outside of ourselves and look externally for things that can be found within. We want other people to swoop down and save us. which isn't always fair to expect that of other people. I think that you have it within you. That's why you're here. Everybody's got their own unique divine spark within, and it's about knowing who you truly are. And once you can touch that part of you, it'll guide you, you know. And so that's the importance of the symbolism there. And I don't want to blabber on too much about it, but I'm really excited to be able to express these kinds of thought patterns in my music, because it's stuff I think about a lot and it's really hard to put into words. It's, you know, because they're so there's these ideas can be very complex and layered and just, yeah. So it's fun to try to figure out ways to channel that into an art form like music or a music video. So again, I want to thank Jeff for helping me so much with this video. I don't do any filming or video stuff. I wouldn't know where to begin with that. So that's why I believe that collaborating and networking and making friends with other artists and people who have their own, niches or things they're good at, it's so important, because you can work together and just really take things up a notch and just produce some really amazing work. So, and for those of you who aren't really big into like the deep symbolism or these kind of thoughts, or you just like listening to stuff that like what you hear is it's just very literal, or what you see is what you get. And I really appreciate that style as well. But even if you are more that type of person, I hope that you still enjoy the video, because there's some really beautiful scenery in there. It was very fun to get to explore all these different places. And I hope that kind of shows through like the wonder of it. It is like you're wandering through your life. There might be some like tough times or some rocky areas or some parts that's like a little bit difficult to navigate. But if you let that lantern, the light of the lantern guide you, then you'll be okay. And I'm going to end it with this quote from an Egyptian proverb that I really love. And make of it what you will. It can be interpreted in different ways. But it reads, "The kingdom of heaven is within you, and whosoever shall know himself will find it." So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll do some more discussion after it.
Yearning to know what signal to show when reaching beyond. Traveler's cloak, hooded and robed, where have you gone? Stuck between time, no spaces or lines, I'm out of your mind. Won't hinder my growth with feelings of hope, this path was shown. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way around. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way around. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way around. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way around. I feel that you're close to pages of prose in a book tightly closed. You're under my skin in the space that's within. I know where you've been. The weight's on my back, compressed to retract, and pulsing the path. The numbers repeat, expand and retreat. You know what I've seen. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way around. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way around. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way around. Woven with thread, inside and out, written in stone, no way
All right, so there you have it, the new video. I hope you enjoyed it. So now, as promised, I have with me Jeff Winston, as you can see, under the guise of Bach. How's it going, Jeff?
Going good. How you doing?
Doing great, doing great. So I want to talk a little bit about the role that you played in the making of the video, which was quite a big role. So you want to tell everybody all the stuff you did?
Well, I did the filming. I did the also kind of did the location scouting. You were telling me what it was that you were thinking, and then I tried to think of places that would fit that. Like we got the big hill there at the end. And then we just got some other kind of like nice scenic stuff. We got like by a lake, we got some rock, we got some trees, so I tried to find the different places there. I'm very happy with how that turned out, the cinematography and whatnot.
Me too.
I also did, the editing and put everything together. I think this is some of my finest work. I did, we used a little bit of green screen.
Yay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I did some green screen and did use some masking, and there's some actually frame by frame animation in there for people who want to go back and check that out and figure out where that is. I also got to get back into After Effects. I haven't used it for a while, and give it some nice texture. If you notice some of the kind of like the white and black dust, and there's some grain in there, kind of give it a little bit more depth on the footage, the texture. But yeah, I'm very excited about this because we've been wanting to have proper music videos for a long time, and I've produced some. Like using like some cartoons, still images, some footage, and even some animation and stuff, and some other folks will produce some. But I think this is the first music video to come out with like the actual subject of the music video in it, and also having a lot of input on it as you did. So I think this is a big step for us. I'm very excited about it. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so you did a really, really good job with taking this concept that is not so easy to express, as I kind of mentioned earlier before showing the video. They can be very complex, and I had a general idea of what I wanted. I had like an image in my mind, and you guys, like Jeff, did an amazing job of taking these sort of vague images that I was giving him and bringing them to life. So thank you for that. And it turned out like better than I could have imagined. That scene at the end, like one of the things, the first vision, I guess, that came to my mind about like what I wanted, what I could imagine seeing in a video for this song was that very last image of the Sisters of Fate, and then the two turning inwards towards the sinner sister who was supposed to represent the present self. And I think that it was like he did just such a good job. Obviously there's not three of me, so we had to use the green screen, and there was quite a bit of editing to go with that, and it just turned out really, really well. Is there anything you want to say about that?
No, I do think that's like, I think the whole video does build up to that final shot. And that was always, like you said, that was kind of the idea. And you communicated that very well initially. That kind of the whole video, builds up to that, climbing up the big hill and then the reveal of the two sisters. And so, yeah, it was very important that we get that part right. And it was cool that, yeah, we thought about doing it different ways. We thought about getting a couple other people to help us. I was going to do a different type of masking, and do it all like kind of real on site. But I like that the green screen, I think that worked out better because the two sisters, they look, I don't know, a little more supernatural. They have a distinctly different look than the main one in the middle. I think that works. Personally, I like how that turned out.
Me too.
Yeah, but I think that's cool. I like how it all ties together with the things on either side of the sisters, the basket with the eggs and the apples, and on the other side you got the antlers and the cauldron with the smoke coming out of it. Yeah, I really like how that came out. I think that's some of my finest work. And there was also some, I don't want to get ahead of us, but like there was also like some fun little frustrations at times with this, like the day of the shooting on the hill, the final scene there, like I kind of like pulled a muscle in my leg or something, like right as we got out there. And so I was kind of a jerk a little bit. I wasn't in the best mood.
Don't listen to him, guys.
So anyway, but you soldiered through it, and so did I. My being a jerk, I soldiered through that. And anyway, no, it worked out. All this stuff is work, you know what I mean? But it's work that I enjoy doing, and I really enjoyed working with you on this video. And I hope that we can get more filmmakers working closely with our musicians to make more music videos, because I think that's just going to give them more legs. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. We've been talking about it for a long time, but it's just hard to get all the pieces together. A lot of our people aren't in the same place, so we were able to get into the same place to actually put this together. So that's awesome.
I feel like this one was probably a bit trickier as a music video because it's like an actual concept video, whereas like a lot of music videos could just be like something cool where it's literally just a band playing, but like in different places or different, you know what I mean? I feel like that would be fun and like it would be fun in a different way, but I think with concept videos, there's a whole different challenge to that, than there is with just the whole what you see, what you get, here's the band kind of music video.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, I appreciate both styles of creation, but it is nice when I like this because there's a journey to it. Like I think with the visuals, we tried to convey that, well, first of all, she gets up, she wakes up, and then she goes on this journey and eventually, climbs the final hill to meet her sisters. But yeah, it's nice. I think we did successfully do that. I personally like videos that have some kind of a narrative in them, even if it's just a little bit subtle, like this narrative, of like the story of her going to meet them.
Yeah, and there's different, like as I said before, it's kind of like the soul's journey through life. So I wanted there to be kind of open, a bit open to interpretation. So you have the three sisters of fate. You've got the basket of eggs and apples on one side, which is supposed to represent the future, and then you have the the red stag skull with the cauldron and the smoke, and that's supposed to represent the past. And then the one that was in the main video throughout, she's supposed to represent the present, but it could also represent one person, like your past, present, and future self, and how that's all tied together. So I kind of left that. I wanted it to be like that, and I think it just turned out really well. It was super fun to explore all these different places. I love doing stuff like that anyways. So doing a creative project where we had an excuse to do that was even better. Did you have, besides hurting your hip or your leg, did you enjoy exploring all those places too?
Yeah, of course. And there are places that I was already familiar with, but there are places that I love to go to. So it's always nice to have an excuse to just go out into nice, beautiful nature scenes. And, there are places that are dear to me. So it's nice to be able to utilize them in art.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see. So you said you learned a lot with the graininess and the dusting and stuff. I thought that turned out really well because I like an example I gave Jeff, you guys, is I showed him Lana Del Rey's Chemtrails Over the Country Clubs, because I really like how she has this like nostalgic film style look to her videos. There's like, it's top quality, but there's still like a graininess, and it looks like old film, and that's what I really appreciate it. And I thought that would work well for this video because it represents something that's timeless, or that transcends time, just like a person's soul, if you want to call it that, or just these threads of fate. So I think all of that is super interesting. It's fun. It's a way to bring our old stories through mythology back to life, and through a new perspective, or a modern perspective, but not modern in the way that we're used to. I don't hope it's not tainted, I think there's ways to revive these things and tell it through our perspective as we are here now. And I think that doing that through music videos and songs is so important to share these stories of our ancestors. But yeah, is there anything you want to say about that?
I think it's cool. I think it's great. No, I agree with you. Yeah, and I like how I wasn't familiar with the Norns. What's the other one? How do you pronounce it?
I think it's pronounced the Greek Moirai, but they're usually just the Fates.
Nice. Well, I think it's cool because, I'm learning more about that just in working with you on this video and listening to you, communicate the concepts of it. So I think it's great that you're putting that into the video, and it's something that, not a lot of people are familiar with, so it's nice. It's a good way to reinvigorate those ideas and those stories and those mythologies. Yeah,
definitely. So is there anything else you want to talk about as far as the technical or the videography kind of stuff, cinematography, whatever all those fancy words with things that I don't know how to do? Do you want to talk about any of that?
Like you said, yeah, it was interesting that you gave me that. I love the look of film in general, so I've always kind of tried to make my stuff have more texture, like it's funny because the way that I filmed this with the camera, I normally would shoot with my camera to make it look grainier, but this one I shot it way cleaner than I normally do because it was yours. And I was like, I want to try to do more clean stuff just because I've kind of gone down that road with my own personal stuff. But then, so it's kind of funny. You were like, oh, I want to get that grainy look. I want to get that. But it's actually, it's nice. I think it's good to do that. Unless you're actually going to shoot it on film, it's good to do that kind of stuff in post-production and like After Effects. That way you have a little bit more control over shot per shot, like how much graininess and whatnot. And also it is fun to mess with like the old look of the footage film kind of look, like with the dust and scratches. We actually didn't add any scratches. Scratches are like the lines, old film has that. And we just did the dust, like white and black dust. And you see those little specks, like, over randomly appear. Yeah, I love that kind of look too. I love the vintage look. And I think it worked out well.
Yeah. And I just wanted to share something kind of funny with you guys. At the end where the two sisters, you first see the two other sisters waiting there for the sister of the present or present self. You see them kind of flicker before she gets up there. So that was sort of one of my like last minute ideas. And I was just like trying to explain this to Jeff. And I was like, kind of like Raiden from Mortal Kombat. And he was like, what? And it was just really funny because I was like, yeah, that probably doesn't make any sense at all. But my idea was like they're sort of flickering in and out of existence because they're like, they're not necessarily, they're all connected, but they're not really there in the present time. So it's sort of representing like this bond that is, hard to pin down. I thought that he did a really good job with doing that and making it seem like random, and the little flicker, like almost ghost-like apparition kind of deal. I was really pleased with that. But yeah, Raiden was my inspiration for that idea.
Just for the record, I know who Raiden is. We're talking about Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Yeah, but like when you were talking, you're like, you're gonna have to show me what you mean.
Yeah, I think I kind of had an idea of what you meant. Like that flicker. I like that flicker effect. That's funny because the first time I did it, I tried to do it a little more systematically because it's easier to do it that way. If you're like, oh, I'll do this every this many frames, and that's anyway, it looked really funny because they just
right.
It didn't look right. It has to be more random looking. It's funny how hard it is to like be intentionally random. We don't really think that way for the most part, but
that's true. That's really true.
But yeah, I like that effect as well. And it's one more note is just like, it's really amazing like if you really take your time and mess around with like the masking and green screen and animation, frame by frame stuff, there's so much. And if you really delve into After Effects, like there's a lot of stuff that you can do that's not very expensive effects that, like people in our spheres are always like, oh my God, it'd be so hard to make a movie and blah, blah, blah. Like you can get really creative, and there's, if you figure out how the software works and how just kind of the concepts of editing, like you can come up with some really cool and simple and very effective effects, more so than you would imagine. So like, it's just a matter of really like honing in your craft on that stuff. You don't have to have millions of dollars to be able to do some nice little effects,
That's so true. And you could even use free video editing programs. I mean, I know you use like Premiere, right?
Yeah, I use Premiere Pro.
Yeah. So yours is definitely a little bit more upscale, more professional. Just for like random videos I've made in the past. And like I said, I'm not a video person, but I've used DaVinci Resolve, which it does it gets the job done. It can be a little glitchy, especially if you start adding like filters or effects on things, or the more cuts you do, or if you add transitions and stuff like that, it can get a little glitchy and it can cause some problems towards the end when you try to render it. But for the most part, that's pretty good too. So if you're looking to get into it and you don't like want to spend a bunch of money on something, you just want to sort of see if you like it. When it comes to filming and doing video editing, I would recommend doing something like that, just getting something free. And if you like it, then maybe saving up some money and getting Premiere Pro or something. But But yeah, that's a really good point. You don't need all this fancy equipment. It's more about the creativity that's in here or in here, you know? So,
Yes.
but yeah, is there anything else you want to say about it or discuss while I have you here?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, as I said before, we're going to go ahead and play some songs from Metamorphosis. We might even just play the whole album. We'll see what our time's looking like. And thank you all so much for tuning into this premiere. It means a lot to me. I like having your support means a ton. I never thought I would have the support of anyone, because I didn't realize I was going to even share my stuff with the internet or people beyond the internet, which I've met in real life. Some of them, like at Whackfest. And just seeing like the growth there has just been amazing. Being able to experience that has been amazing. And I am so grateful for all of you. So thank you very much. And I hope you have the happiest holidays, and that you get to spend a lot of time with your families and loved ones, and that it's nice and cozy. So have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Ho, ho, ho.
into a certain culture at a certain phase of its organic development. We have certain gifts. These conditions are the tasks to perform. The metaphysical task is beyond any conditioning. For it would have been the same in any age, anywhere. The earthly task is merely the form of the higher task. It's organic vehicle.
Right now, I sit and wonder just how I can be contained. Four walls, a curse I'm under. How long will this be again? In this life, a roller coaster on a 3 resist the tension. Fault line showing concrete is a lie. Ooh, walk blindly to balance on the beam. Fault line showing nowhere left to hide. Illusion shattering like glass blown to pieces. Fault line showing the will to survive. Ooh, One truth can create a new what they tell us. The lies are burned to ash. This time we'll defend our borders from all of those who were never gonna ask. The ghosts at haunt us will be laid to rest. This struggle is our test. It is our test. We are the West. We are the West. We are the West. That spark of life, something inside. You know that I will stick by your side. When the magnet pulls you close to me and me to you, it's something true. Oh, it's so true. So true. So true. So true. Just keep moving a path that's all our own. We might be broken, but the fire makes us whole. Again, belonging right by each other's side. We might be broken, but some things never die. Catching the cold easy to feel lost in this modern world. Trying to reach the top of a mountain while running on a treadmill never worked well for anyone. And yet, here we are. Here I am. Always moving forward in time, never sure where it is I'll get to, if I'm moving in the right direction, or when I'll reach that destination. I just know that I can't be stagnant, because there's so much more to be explored. A world of treasures invisible to the blind eye of a narrow mind. Something tells me that every dark veil enveloping us is just a layer added to test our strength, ultimately leading to the next stage in our transformation, a new phase of our evolutionary cycle. It is this struggle from this darkness that compels us to rekindle the flame of our willful spirit, to keep going and to never, never give up. Blindfold on, can't take it off, never enough. Blanket of night, where is the light? Blanket of night, blanket of night, where is the light? Sometimes I think I might be paralyzed, stuck inside a limbo state of mind. Are we the catalyst for change, or will there be more of the same with time? More of the same with time. Just when there's no more breath of air, the light shines through the cracks in the shell. It turns out that this isn't hell, it's just the shell of our chrysalis. The shell of our chrysalis. Sitting alone in the dark, with nowhere to go, it feels so hopeless. But we're not doomed to fail. This is just our metamorphosis. Our metamorphosis. Dark becomes light from the day, night, night. Become the change, kindle the fire from inside. Dark becomes light from the day, night. Become the change, kindle the fire from inside. Dark becomes light from the day into night. Become the change, kindle the fire from inside. Dark becomes light from the day into night. Become the change, kindle the fire from inside. fork in the road and you take the path unpaved. You know that living for something more doesn't mean that you'll be saved. Doesn't mean you'll be saved. Doesn't mean you'll be saved. Doesn't mean you'll be saved. Sacrifice against time. I'll make my sacrifice against time. I'll make my It's hard to live with the burden of truth when the sleepers just won't wake. You know it's bigger than yourself and you can't just go your way. When you're living for something more, oh, the risk that you will take. Oh, the risk you will take. The risk you will take. The risk you will take. Sacrifice